Okay, today our topic is aggregate demand. Aggregate means total, and demand means the ability and desire to buy the goods. So it is not the micro demand like we studied the market demand of any product which is negatively related to its price only when other factors are kept constant. Here we talk about aggregate means total. This is the total demand of all the goods and services which are produced by a country at general price level, okay, in a given time period or in a given year. So it is total demand of, it is not a single market. There are all the goods and services, total demand of all the goods and services, all the goods and services produced by a country, at general price level, not a single price level, single good price, general price level in a given year. In a given year, like in a specific time period, how many goods and services are actually demanded by the people of a country, and these goods are totally produced by the same country. We are not talking about the imported goods demand in our country, rather these are the domestically produced goods and services. Okay, if either they are demanded by the domestic people or by the foreigners. Okay, like Pakistanis, they are demanding our goods, that is included in case of aggregate demand, plus the demand of our goods by the foreigners in the form of our exports, that's also part of our aggregate demand. But import will not be the part. Yes, imports are not part of our aggregate demand because they are not produced by our economy. They are produced by other countries. So that is the demand of imported goods which are produced by other countries. So we do not include the imports in our aggregate demand, rather we will include the demand of exports of our goods by the foreigners. So aggregate demand, as I said, this is the total demand of all the goods and services produced by a country at given general price level. And general price, why do we say general price level? Because in microeconomics we studied the price of the product itself. That was a single product demand. Here we find so many goods and services which are produced by a country. So we will take a general price level, that we somehow will take the average price level of all the goods and services, and that is going to have a relation with the real GDP. Clear? So that's why we are taking a general price level in a given year, like in one fiscal year, from the 1st July of 2022 till the 30th June of 2023. This is one fiscal year. So within this year, within this time period, how much is our total demand of goods and services which are produced by a country? Clear or not? Now, I am going to draw the aggregate demand curve. First of all, aggregate demand is equal to C plus I plus G plus net exports. What is aggregate demand? It is C plus I plus G plus net exports. C stands for consumption by the households, as we were talking in our previous lesson. So consumption expenditures by the households, they are representing their consumption of goods and services. Now this is the main expenditure in our aggregate demand, because everyone is a consumer, whether he produces those goods or those goods are produced by someone else. We all are the consumers and we all are not the producer goods, the capital goods, which are in the form of the creation of new capital goods like machinery, like factories, which will further produce goods and services in the economy.
Sir, the goods that are imported and consumed by the consumer.
They are not part of our aggregate demand. Imports are not part of our aggregate demand. This is a totally domestic goods and services which are produced. Okay? So investment means these are the demand of the capital goods, equipments, factories, machineries, which are demanded by the producers to have more output in the coming year. Now what is G? G stands for government spending. What it is? The government spending on the development projects, like to provide the public goods, to provide the merit goods, and to have more law and order conditions, services which will maintain the law and order conditions. So these government spendings, they will create employment opportunities in the economy, and once employment is created, now people will demand more goods and services which are available in the market. So G is also the part of our aggregate demand or aggregate expenditures, where in case of NX, I said these are net exports. Net exports means exports minus imports. If our goods are more demanded by the foreigners, definitely our aggregate demand will increase. Clear? And on the other hand, if we are buying more of imported goods, our aggregate demand of domestically produced goods will decrease, rather we are buying the imported goods. So net exports, they are also part of this aggregate demand. Clear? So what are the different components which are present within this aggregate demand? That includes C plus I plus G plus net exports. Now what will be the shape of aggregate demand? This is the main thing. So aggregate demand we are drawing over here. This is on the horizontal axis. I am taking real GDP, and here I am taking the price level, the general price level. Clear? I gave you some information about nominal GDP and real GDP. Do you remember, Aiza? Nominal means when GDP is measured at current year prices, that is inclusive of inflation. And when we measure GDP at base year prices, that we are excluding the impact of inflation, then we take the value of that GDP, the goods and services, in real terms. Okay? Not in nominal GDP, we are talking about real GDP. Now the demand of real GDP, that is downward sloping like the micro demand, like demand of any product, a single product. So this aggregate demand curve is downward sloping. What do we mean by downward sloping? Last time we talked about this. When general price level is increasing, people will consume less. They will demand less of our goods and services. That's why they can shift to imported goods as well. Exports will also decrease because our goods have become too much expensive.
Then demand will fall.
Yes. This is a movement along the curve. Like when price level is high, what is happening? There are three effects. I am going to erase this side of the board in order to explain to you why aggregate demand curve slopes downward. There are three reasons of this downward sloping aggregate demand curve. First is real wealth effect. Real wealth effect. I said when prices are increasing, what happens to the real wealth of people in a country? That will decrease, and they will not be willing to buy more goods and services because their real wealth, their real earnings, they have gone down. That's why people are demanding less goods due to increasing general price level because of decreasing their real wealth. Now, the second effect is what? International competitiveness. International competitiveness. What do you mean by this, Isaac? When general price level is increasing, our goods will become incompetitive in international market. They will face difficulties to compete with their rival products or substitutes which are produced by other countries, and they are having lower prices. So our goods export demand will decrease, foreigners will take it expensive to buy our goods. That's why our aggregate demand of the goods will be lower when our general price level is higher than other countries. The other countries' products demand will shift rightward as they are the substitutes or competitors to us. So our goods will be demanded less. Third reason is interest rate effect. Interest rate effect. How will it show us that aggregate demand is downward sloping? When general prices are increasing, people will start borrowing to buy on installment or on credit basis. And you know, when they are going to borrow more loans, demand of loans will increase in the money market, and the lenders of those loans will increase interest rate on those borrowed money. So when interest rate on borrowed money will increase, so people will borrow less. That's why they are demanding less goods when prices are high, because they cannot afford the goods at higher prices within their own income. They will start borrowing, and when more people rush towards the lenders of loans to borrow more loans, so the lenders have increased the rate of interest. So as loans have become expensive, people will not buy too many goods which are previously demanded. Now they will demand less goods. So because of these three reasons, we see why aggregate demand curve is downward sloping. Clear? So when prices are going to decrease, what happens? When prices are decreasing, so as a result, what happens? There is more demand of real GDP in the economy. Why is there more demand? Because now the real wealth of people will increase. They are able to buy more goods and services. That's why they are demanding too much. Now, international competitiveness has also increased in international market. So our exports will become dearer in the other countries, and then they will be demanded more. And interest rate, obviously, when prices are lower, people are not facing any difficulty to borrow more loans, and demand of loans will be lower, and interest rate will be ultimately lower to buy the goods and services in order to finance their expenditures. So all these three factors will cause a demand of the loans, demand of real GDP to have downward sloping. Now the question is, how this aggregate demand will shift upward and downward? Do you think why aggregate demand shifts rightward or leftward? What are the reasons behind? Anyone can tell me?
The non-trade side.
Shifts of aggregate demand. Shifts of aggregate demand. Okay. Now see over here. This is, I am trying it again, real GDP. That's Y. And this is the price level. Look here. When people are expecting that general price level will increase in near future, okay, so what happens? They will rush to buy more goods at present time. When expected price level is going to be higher in future, at present time aggregate demand will increase. So expected prices will cause an increase in aggregate demand of the goods in the economy. Alright. So the first factor is expected general price level. General price level. People are having optimism that in future their real income will decrease. Okay, so they will buy more goods at present time, and when it is expected that in future prices will decrease, okay, so they will decrease the aggregate demand in the present time and they will buy more goods in the future when prices are lower. Clear? Now the second factor is what is the reason of the shift in aggregate demand? The second reason is decrease in rate of interest. What do we mean by this thing? When interest rate on saving has gone down, loans have become cheaper, so people will increase their aggregate demand. They will spend more on buying more goods and services. So again, aggregate demand will shift rightward. Followed my points or not? Okay. Decreasing interest rate will also encourage investment in the economy. Investment will also increase, and when investment by the firms will increase, again aggregate demand will shift rightward. Okay, because firms are looking at the change in consumer demand, people are going to buy more goods and services, so producers will be optimistic that their future profits will increase, so they increase investment, and further investment will further create employment opportunities, and as a result aggregate demand will also increase. The third reason of shift in aggregate demand, that is increase in government spending. If government spending has increased on development projects, they will create employment opportunities, and due to increase in employment, aggregate demand will further increase in future. Clear? And at the same time, can I say global income level? Global income level. What do you think about this point? When other countries' economic activities are increasing, they are having more income to earn. What happens? They will demand more of our goods, or their countries are having increasing inflation rate in other countries will also attract our goods to be demanded by them. So our exports will increase if global income level or our trade partners they are able to have more income to earn. Okay. Now can I say exchange rate depreciation? It is also a cause of increasing aggregate demand. How? When our currency is becoming weaker against other currencies. Clear? When our currency is becoming weaker against dollar, against pound sterling, so in other words, their purchasing power, their currencies are appreciating now, so they have to pay less to buy our goods in terms of their own currency, so they will increase demand of our exports. So again aggregate demand will shift rightward.
It will also decrease our imports because
Yes, that will decrease our imports. On the other hand, can I say taxes? When taxes are falling, government has reduced the income tax rate. So our disposable income will increase. Again, aggregate demand will have a rightward shift. Follow my points or not? Now, another point is increase in population size over the period of time. Over the period of time, after 10 years, 20 years, the size of population of a country has also increased. Therefore, the demand as compared to previous decades that has also shifted rightward. So these would be the shift factors. There can be others, I don't remember right now. You can say these factors, the maximum I could remember, they can increase the demand, aggregate demand, or the total demand of all the goods and services which are produced by a country in a given year at general price level. So that will have a shift. Now, what is the opposite case? When rate of interest has increased, aggregate demand will shift downward, and same is the case when government spending has gone down or global income level has gone down, exchange rate appreciation an increase in taxes and population size may not decrease in future. So these factors will cause a downward shift of aggregate demand in the economy. Clear? That's all for today.